nephew Bobby is so cute. He sings so swell. I'm saying to myself, so Grover getting a pussy because little Bobby can sing?
Hello, Black Hole. See this brother win, man. Hey, look, what is it, win, baby? What is it, win, baby? What is it, win, baby?
Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Today's looky would be our Miss Chi Chi Shades. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you goddammit, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, child, we moving on to something new. All right? It's something about them daggone Barbies that they just don't know how to act, y'all. What the hell is going on with that? But anyway, now let's talk about Bobby Womack, my story from 1944 to 2014. Let's go. So one day, we were all back there arguing about which one of us had gotten us into this singing. We wished we hadn't mocked the voices of love. And then someone picked up the guitar. We tuned into a radio station and started playing along to the songs. We liked Elmore James, John Lee Hooker, B.B. King, Slim Hawkins back then. But they never got played on the radio then, so it was probably some gospel, but at least we weren't singing. The game we played was whoever had the guitar had to keep up with the song playing. But when they hit a bum note, they had to pass the guitar on to the next brother. He would keep it until he missed a note. It got so I would bust a gut getting back from school to get hold of that guitar before any of my brothers. I was sick of waiting for them to miss those chords. After a while, I got to keep playing that guitar along to the radio so long Friendly or Cecil would complain. I'd heard the song before and try and snatch it out of my hands. Some nights I would be out on the porch myself, one eye on the fret, the other watching the corner down the street, waiting for my old man to turn it. I was left-handed and didn't realize I had the guitar upside down. I'd practice, and then if I saw Dad coming, I'd race in the house and prop the guitar right back in the corner. The old man would come in from work, pick up the guitar, run a rag over the wooden body, and then run a suspicious eye over me. "Say, has anyone been touching my guitar?" he asked. I would look innocent. "No, Daddy." The guitar playing just came to me so quick. I started listening to a guy called Floyd Kramer. Kramer had begun playing by ear too. He had backed some Elvis Presley tracks and put out his own honky-tonk tunes. Because I played left-handed, I never reversed the strings or anything. With the guitar upside down and always peeping around the corner to watch for my father, everything I played was unorthodox. It sounded that way too, but to me, it also sounded real good. I played with the spirit, not following any music. One day, he played the guitar. His mama is listening to him silently. She knew he was playing with the guitar, but she ain't say nothing. She just told him infrequently, "You know your daddy gonna catch you one day." Didn't matter. Sometimes us women, we warn you once or twice. If you ain't listening, mother is on you. So one day, he broke one of the strings. This crazy boy took a shoestring out of his shoe and decided to tie it up in place of the string that he broke, and then put the up in the corner like nothing was going to happen. Or like his daddy wasn't going to notice it. You know how you do when you're a child. You be delusional. I know the damn word is delusional. And for you rat bastard that was like, Nay need to attend a community college so she can learn how to speak, it ain't my fault that you niggas can't take a joke. I know that it's delusional. I say delusional, whatever it is I want to say, because what? This is my channel. Visitor. My mother asked why I stopped playing so quickly. I told her about the string and she shook her head sadly. I told you not to play it, she said. You know, Friendly, when he comes home, is go get his guitar. I knew that all right. Sure enough, he stepped up on the porch and said, Bobby, fetch me my guitar. I tried to persuade him to lie down and have a rest. Gave him a little neck rub. Wait a minute, what the heck is going on here? My son is trying to rub my neck? What? Son, when did you start giving out massages? I stalled him, but he got suspicious. Hey, you aren't up to mischief, are you? No, sir. I fetched it. The shoelace looked right out of place. Dad looked down to see he had been thumbing a ratty black cotton lace. He only had to take one look at my shoe. Bobby, you come here. What did I tell you? I said, don't touch my guitar. Dad sent me off into the backyard to get the longest switch I could find and ready myself for a tanning. My brothers followed me out and watched as I tore at some branches to find a cane. Harry asked if he could have my dinner that night. Selfish motherfucker. I'm about to die! I'm about to go in there and die! You okay? Harry asked if he could have my dinner that night and for the rest of the week. They knew I was in for a lashing and wouldn't be in any state to sit or eat. When I got back with that switch, my old man had a change of heart. Can you play this thing? He asked, holding out the broken guitar. If you can play it, I might let it slide. But you got to be real good. Man, I played Andre Segovia, Elmore James, and B.B. King, even with one string short. I played classic music, soul, country, and western, and rock and roll. I played my ass off. Every lick I knew, and then some I didn't. When I finished, Dad was in shock. He couldn't believe how good I had got and realized he'd been real selfish holding on to the guitar for himself. The next morning, he promised to take me down to the store so I could pick out my own guitar. But here come his brothers. Daddy, he ain't the only one that can play. Since you around here buying guitars, buy us some too, Daddy. The old man decided to quit his job and concentrate his energies on us. Who that? Joe Jackson, I told you. It was his dream from way back in Charleston to have his singing sons. He'd got that, and now he found they could play guitar too. Dad borrowed some money from his union and got us all kitted out in uniforms. Rehearsals picked up. We sang in church every Sunday and started touring as the Womack brothers, just like my old man's group. We turn up at religious shows all over and play with the groups like the Five Blind Boys, the Caravans, and the Pilgrim Travelers. School took a back seat. Now this is the nigga. Okay, I don't understand why a father would want his boys to quit school. Now, the father quit school, so I guess he like, well, I'm surviving without an education, so my boys don't need an education. Bullshit, the Baker man. My paternal grandmother dropped out in the 2nd grade, and she was still able to shine bright like a diamond. But what if she didn't have that wherewithal? You know what I'm saying? What if she wasn't a hard worker? What if she was just meh, you know? Then she would be struggling like everybody else. So I don't know, Pappy. I don't agree with that. And I know you're like, Nay, that's just what they did back in the day. I don't give a fuck what they did back in the day. Education is important. School took a back seat. We'd get back from a show at 10 in the morning, still in our uniforms and dog tired from the night before. We were always late for school and often sleeping in class. And the teachers would cuff us across the head with a ruler to wake us up. Back then, you could beat children in school. We were always late for school and often sleeping in class. And the teachers would cuff us across the head with a ruler to wake us. They were always threatening to talk to the old man about our behavior, not understanding that he was the problem. Ooh, I'm glad that Bobby Womack understands what the hell is going on here. Old Grover always had some words to say about what my father was doing too. Ooh, I know your daddy hated the Uncle Grover. He said, your father, he's the same as any churchman. He ain't doing nothing but pimping you. Man, I could take y'all down to the Gold Coast. We go door to door and you could walk out of there with $100 in your pocket. But your father, he's waiting on Jesus to come and save you. Damn, Uncle Grover. Grover also had his uses for us. Let me tell you, this is abuse, Bobby. This is abuse. This is not right, Bobby Womack. What he said when Uncle Grover had a new potential and he was trying to knock her down, what he would do is grab little Bobby and his guitar and take him over the girl house who he was trying to knock down. Bobby, go ahead and sing my new girlfriend a song. Something ain't right about this. He on the couch with his new girlfriend with his arm around her. Yeah, baby. Keep playing, keep singing, Bobby. Oh, Grover, your nephew Bobby is so cute. He sings so swell. I'm saying to myself, so Grover getting a pussy because little Bobby could sing? I do my piece and this girl would melt. Oh, Grover, that's so cute. I can't stand you. And he'd be dragged in there with his pants round by his ankle. When my father got to hear about that, he told Grover that if anyone wanted to hear us sing, they could always come down to the church. Child, you know them heathens ain't going down to the church. I started to see my old man in a different light. I didn't think he was an Uncle Tom, but he sure let those church folks use him. If we earned any money, the church would hand him a jar full of coins, and that's how he brought it home, like he'd been begging or living on handouts. But we'd earned that money by rights. My mother once took the jar full of change and poured it out all across the living room floor. My old man gave her a whooping like she was a little girl. He then picked up every single nickel. Oh, he was lunching. By him just saying it cavalierly like that, it makes me feel like he thought that it was okay. You know, he didn't say it in a way where I could read through the lines and say that it hurt him to see his father beat his mother like that. He just was very cavalier about it. He whipped her ass like she was a little girl. We could be making 100, maybe 150 a night by the early 1950s. The family got a few little luxuries like a TV. We also got our first telephone with our own number. Henderson, 19708. Man, I thought that was so neat having a phone. Then in 1953, my old man told us he wanted us in good shape because the Soul Stirrers were coming into town. I thought, who the hell are the Soul Stirrers? I was 9 then, and I didn't realize that they would change my life around. Sam Cooke was 22 when I met him. He'd been plying his trade in itty-bitty gospel groups for a while before hooking up with the Soul Stirrers. He'd only been with the group a couple of years when he came into town that day. Sam was about 165 pounds, real slim, about 5'10", maybe a little more. He looked cool, wore sharp outfits, always neat, always. He didn't need a suit to look smart. I wanted to look like him, but in our raggedy duds, it wasn't going to happen. Cooke had replaced a guy named R.H. Harris. Harris had a beautiful voice, but he was a legendary womanizer, a real lover man with a baby or pregnant woman in practically every city. Oh my God. You know what I want to know? Okay, and I'm only talking to you dumb bitches. I'm only talking to y'all. You know what I want to know? That's my dog grunting in the background. When he had baby 5, 6, and 7, why do you give him number 8? I don't get that. And when he got baby 12, 13, 14, why the hell do you give him number 15? Nothing in your mind say, wait a minute, let me hold off. Let me make sure I use protection because he already splitting his little bit of money 5 ways. I don't want to have to split that little bit of money 6 ways. I just don't get it. With men, you know, they see a dummy every second. All right. They catch one slipping every second. They be on top of you hunching, have a baby by me, have a baby by me, you know, and the dumb girls be like, oh, he loved me. He want me to have his baby. Girl, he only met you yesterday. Oh, he only met you yesterday. He turn up in Chicago, Minneapolis, New York City, and he be hit for child support. So it became impossible. He wouldn't show up and it began to hurt the group. So Sam stepped in. Sam had been born 13 years before me in 1931, down south in Clarksdale, Mississippi. He was the son of a Baptist preacher, but moved up to Chicago when he was a baby. He joined the Soul Stirrers when he was just 20 after singing around Chicago's South Side with groups like the Highway QCs. One of the Soul Stirrers had been rehearsing with the QCs and got to know Sam, so it made sense when RH left. So hold on, pause. Let me say this right quick, right? You know how them ninjas do. Them good for nothings. You know what they do. When the child support people be on his neck, they quit their job. Okay, because they don't need the child support people to keep track of them via social security number, via the employment. Sam was a whole new breed. He went into a church and did things other gospel singers wouldn't dare do. Cooke and the Soul Stirrers got on something called the Gospel Highway. Now this was showbiz, man. Groups would ride up to some sleepy little town and they'd put on a performance, sometimes having church just before. There was a knack to this whole thing because you wanted to hit towns when folks had some green in their pockets. Maybe you planned to strike Raleigh or some of those places in North Carolina just after the tobacco harvest. You'd make it your business to know when the auto lines in Detroit filled out those paychecks. When Sam Cooke and the Soul Stirrers arrived in our town, he gave us one hell of a boost. By this time, Sam was drawing in a whole new crowd. He'd pretty much had it with the Gospel Highway thing, but there wasn't any alternative. Gospel just didn't cut it with the lifestyle of these guys who'd be into women and drink. He was a pretty guy, and there would be all those girls screaming like at a rock and roll show. Every artist and entertainer, they don't chase the women. The women come after them. Because they say if he is that dominant, I want to see what he's like in bed. They're curious. It's just normal. And if you got a ding dong and it don't get hard, then something is wrong. Wow. The pastors got uptight about all that. But the church folk had a dilemma. They wanted Sam and these guys to tone it down, but when they looked out, those pews were filled with a whole new congregation of kids they could never get to church on sermons alone. My old man went to see the Soul Stirrers, told them he had us 5 young boys, and asked if we could open up the show. Not already done so, please remember to Like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. Now remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves you babies. Y'all better have a good one.